Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Tjibaria's Daily Show. This time from the new place. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today and give you a little behind the scenes of an event organizer. So let's do this. Yo, yo, yo. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. And right now, I am coming to you live at 12:31, so half an hour past midnight with a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting here in my studio super excited doing all the final preparations for the pre-training tomorrow of Project 1 Million in 1 year. Now, what does that mean? For those of you who've never been part of any of our events, we always run a pre-training typically a week before the main event takes place, which in our case for Project 1 Million in 1 year is going to be from the 12th of March until the 16th of March. So if you want to be part of it, you can still join. It's going to be super awesome. And I hope you will be there tomorrow with the pre training as well. But the reason why we do a pre training is because our events are really big, and not big necessarily in the sense of like it's like a lot of whoosh 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 type of stuff if you know what whoosh 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 means. But it's really transformational, so we go and get a lot of stuff done, and we basically take our participants through a journey that transforms their lives completely in the way that they think, the way that they do things, and the things that they think is possible, and actually concrete gets them to practically do stuff. So that's why it's always so important to have a pre-training, because that basically lays the foundation and sets the stage for people to really be able to know, okay, this is what we're going to do next week. And it will allow them to actually have that preparation week. Because again, like I said, it's just so big, the stuff that people will be doing. And like to just give you an example, we've had people over the years that we run events like this make money during the event. And I think our current top result from an event like Project 1 Million in 1 year was making like 56,000 during the event from directly implementing things that the event instructed, which is like incredible. And it's so exciting. And I literally cannot wait for, incredible things to happen again. But all of that being said, it does mean that as an event organizer, which yeah, we have been for the last 9 years. There's so much behind the scenes, so much stuff that we do. And today I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight of it. So today it has been a very beautiful, eventful day. I've had so many beautiful conversations with incredible people, incredible entrepreneurs and participants. And right now I'm just sitting here doing my final prep before tomorrow because it's going to be so awesome. So in this preparation side, I just wanted to share a couple of things with you because I know some of you watching this live or on replay will also want to run your own events. So this will be nice so you can take some notes in terms of things that you can do or bring to the table when you're running your own events, but also from my side, for those of you who are interested in seeing that, to see like what is the preparation that goes into it. So there's a couple of different facets, and I want to talk about a few of them, which I think are sometimes not as clear for people, but I think they can be very enlightening. So one part that I want to talk about is the interaction and communication with the participants, because at the end of the day, the event is about the participants. We want people to get crazy results. We want people to have an immensely transformative experience. And so that actually starts long before the event. Like we announced that we were running this event a couple of weeks back. And since that moment, when people sign up, there's a whole journey of things that happens, and things that the participants get taken through, and things that they get to do, or how they can interact with the team and learn things already, and start that process. So one part of that is literally just being in communication. So as a team, we do a lot of effort to speak to all of our participants and make sure to understand, like, what do they want to get out of the event, how, like, what kind of results are they looking to get, what are they doing, what are they thinking of, what ideas do they have, what challenges do they face. And we really do this in a great detail. We do this by sending out emails and communicating with them in that way. We make calls, we call the participants up. Not always everybody picks up, but we make an effort to make the calls. We send them messages, like personal messages. I personally send messages from my WhatsApp, and I just literally connect it. I record videos, we send it over to them, and the conversations that we're having from that is really tremendous. And for instance, today I had a conversation with one of our participants, and it was so beautiful. It really inspired me deeply. And this person is super, super, super amazing. And I know that this event is going to totally transform this person's life. And I'm just so excited for that. And so there goes a great deal of communication. And why do I think this is important to mention? Is because sometimes well, not sometimes, I speak to a lot of people that run events or that run webinars or do a lot of stuff online, which is obviously awesome. And we too make use a lot of automation. But I think what really can set you apart is just having that conversation with a human being. And that could be as simple as just texting back and forth, but knowing that there's actually like a person there and not just like only automation. Because don't get me wrong, automation is absolutely key because it'll just help you make so much more impact. And if you know that there are certain steps that you want to take a participant through, it helps not having to type that up 5 million times for every single participant, but to actually have something that does that on autopilot. But besides that, actually being able to really communicate and listen to what a person says, or what I like to do, like I have my WhatsApp in here, and I just send voice notes the whole time. And like literally, I'm speaking to people, answering their questions, sending voice notes back and forth. And I think that really helps and it sets you apart. And it was just yesterday, it was interesting. I was seeing an ad. No, it was today actually. It was an ad that I saw from some company that is specialized in some automation stuff, which I completely love and swear by, because I think automation is essential if you want to make like a really good impact on people. But then at the same time, within that ad, this person was saying like, yeah, calls, you don't need to make calls. And he's like, that's the thing of the past, and it's outdated and whatever. It was just like, no, it's not. It absolutely isn't. And it's interesting because sometimes people feel like that's a lot of work and it's very difficult and whatnot. But we pride ourselves in making that impact and actually calling up every single participant. And again, it doesn't mean that everybody picks up all the time, but a lot of people do. And those that do, they just see the impact of it. And even if we, call someone and they miss the call, but they immediately receive an email and receive a text with a voice note and a selfie video or things like that, which is actually something that we learned from Grant Cardone. It's so personal, and the appreciation that people feel because of that is enormous. And so for those of you business owners, event organizers, or people that are inviting some automation in your life, don't forget the power of actually speaking to people. It's really big. And we notice that all the time from the responses that we get from people. But from another point of view, it's also really going to help you in getting people to actually show up, because again, so many different people that are in business and that run events or do like seminars or webinars or challenges and these types of things. If you only rely on automation, then you're gonna get only a fraction of the people that show up. And I'm not saying that right now by making calls and reminding people and actually having conversations that you're gonna get 100% show up. Definitely not. But it drastically increases the amount of people that actually feel like, oh wow, like I feel so inspired by the care that this company has, and the level of interest shown in me that it makes absolute sense to come. And I want to really give that to you guys as well. For those of you that think about, okay, I want to run my events and I want people to show up, it makes a difference if you really care and show that you care to your participants. And that's why it's such an essential part of it. So in what I'm doing right now, just before I was going to go live and talk to you guys about it, I was actually, answering messages. And right now, and that's a cool thing. Like, you can combine automation and personal stuff together in such an like really really tremendous way. um, and like, this is one of the things that we speak about during the event. It's so cool. And again, if you're watching this and you're not yet part of the event, there's a link in the description. Click on it, join the event. It will change your life. So I see we have some new people tuning in, so let me just quickly grab the link again and just drop it in the chat bar or in the comments or chat or whatever, and then you can click on it and join us. But for instance, right now I'm just looking at my personal WhatsApp chat box, and there's like, I don't even know how many people responded back to me, and that I just have to get back to and say, yeah, and then help out and send a book or do this or do that. And I personally love that. I really, really do. And sometimes people say to me, like, why are you doing that? This is crazy. Like, why would the business owner um, take the effort to speak to people? Which again, it's not always the case. Like, I do know that it's quite unusual to a degree, but it's what I absolutely love. Like, if I can choose what do I do all day long, it really is being with people and communicating with people and listening to people's stories and helping them find solutions for things that are so meaningful to them. And I know that over the years that we've been running events, we have been able to provide that to a degree that people are absolutely amazed at what they are capable of. So not what we are capable of as a company, no, what you are capable of as a participant. So that within the 6 days that this event takes place in, you gain the knowledge of a couple of years. And that is so incredibly fulfilling. And that's why right now it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm still going at it, because I know that I want to prepare myself. I want to make sure that everything is taken care of, because we're changing lives here, and that cannot be underestimated, because it's just like one of the most fulfilling things that one can do, short of being a parent and giving to charity and other incredible things. This is, in my opinion, one of the most fulfilling parts of life, to be able to do good and truly transform people's lives. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is that I'm obviously the speaker. So I'm going to speak and I'm going to talk about a lot of things. And we do this in a really high energy and high tempo. And that does require preparation. But I think over the last couple of years, I've really, really, really been blessed to speak so much. Even before I went into business, I was doing lots of speaking contests, and I was doing one speaking contest and I won. And as a result of that, I was being asked to speak all around the country in the Netherlands. So I remember, like, I was traveling with my dad all different places to talk about wormholes, which was the topic that I was so interested in, and I created a presentation around and was able to explain wormholes to people that didn't necessarily have the same scientific background that I had, which was, going into Einstein's relativity theory or the field equations and general relativity and like all of that sort of stuff. I think I said general relativity twice, but like that stuff. Like, I wouldn't even say that I fully understood all of the equations that concern themselves around wormholes, because they go really really deep. But I understood the concept, and I was able to explain it to people so that they too can understand it, because wormholes are not actually that different from black holes. And there's such cool things about it, and I even get motivated now, not having spoken about it for so long. So, maybe I'll come back to you guys and do an episode on wormholes so that you guys can see it. Let me know in the comments if you guys would want that. But that was already, like, I spoke a lot before that. I've been a teacher ever since I was a kid, because my parents always asked me to go and train my brother and my sister and my cousins. And I think that has been the case ever since I was 6 or 7. So I've been teaching pretty much all my life, as far as I can remember, the last 30 years. But then when I went into business, I learned specifically speaking from the point of view of really empowering people, learning certain techniques of effective communication, how to take people through a journey, how to allow the mind to go with you. Because a lot of the time, whatever we say as a speaker, there's always thoughts, there's always objections, and how do you handle that? And basically handle that before it comes up. So, as a speaker, one of the really big techniques that I learned from Master Sri Akarshana is that you want to understand that whatever you say, there's going to be an objection to it. So, how are you able to keep the mind with you, knowing that there will be certain objections and question marks coming up in the mind when you introduce a new concept? And that part is so tremendous, because if you're able to do that well, you can get people to have huge transformations, which would normally take a long time. Because one of the things that was studied, I don't even know in which field, but is that change for people is very difficult, because there's certain identities that we have for ourselves, and to change identity, it requires a lot of like brain wiring that you have to break, so that then you go and adopt a new identity. And what we actually do in Project 1 Million in 1 year is we do 5 identity shifts, one identity shift per day, which not tomorrow's a pre-training, but then from next week onwards, there's one identity shift every single day. And then altogether, it shifts you into a completely new, elevated person that is able to take on the world. Now, that does require a lot of, like, not just technique, but energy, and being able to get people to be on that, like we call it synergy, so that you really have the crowd, and then me with what I'm saying, and the crowd with what they're typing, and how they're, nodding and dancing along with the Zoom. And that whole thing creates this whirlwind that everybody gets into, and then comes out a new type of person, an elevated type of person. And so that to me is like absolutely a joy. And it's different every single time, because there's different people there. But in essence, the structure is the same. So when it comes to my preparation, it's not like I have to like study exactly what I have to say. And I've never worked with a teleprompter or anything like that. But I do have a list of different topics that I know I want to speak about. And then I have my list, I have it open. But what happens is I look at a couple of things, and then I just go into it. And then the rest of the event is typically on flow. So every single day, what I do and what I will be doing right now for the rest of this evening and tomorrow morning is I'll basically listen to certain speeches that I've personally given, where I've explained certain topics that I know are really well received. And I look through my notes, and I'm just basically saying, like, where can I do it better? What are certain things, stories that I can tell differently? Like, my dad gives me a lot of feedback on that always, like which stories were presented well, which stories to take out, and how to better guide the mind to have the most explosive transformation. So what I do is I listen to past topics that I've presented, and then at the same time going through my notes and seeing where can I bring like elevation in there. And then that's basically how I prepare for each day. And I do that for each day. I have my set of notes, I know the topics that I want to hit, and I know like how I did that previously and how I want to do it this time in a better way. Now, and what happens, and that's the fun part, fun part, I guess, is that because I do it on flow, like I literally have a couple of bullet points, but then I just go into it and I just start speaking, is that I tend to over deliver as well, which is sometimes a good thing, because people love it, and I'm just sharing a lot more than what they were promised. But on the other hand, sometimes it goes over time as well. So there's the pros and the cons, but most of the time people absolutely love it as well. Thank you so much, King Divine. I don't like. Can you tell me what's your real name? And King Divine is saying sorry for missing class. Um, I don't believe you have missed anything, have you? Because the event is only starting tomorrow, and yeah, you're all good, I think. But can you let me know what is your actual name? Because maybe you're speaking about another class, which maybe you have missed. I'm not sure exactly, but for Project 1 Million in 1 year, you're all good. So yeah, so that's the preparation from the speaker point of view. And then there's a lot of other like structural things that we prepare with the team. So like obviously I'm speaking, but then we have our team that's looking after the participants. Oh, Tyrek, hi, good to see you. So you haven't missed anything yet. Be there tomorrow. You're gonna love it, because I think this is your first event, right, Tyrek? You've been on the master classes. If you've been on the master classes and not on this event, you're gonna fall off your chair. You're gonna love, love, love this. So make sure to be there. Yeah, really make sure to be there. I will not accept you not being there. So you have to be there. But yeah. So prepping the team, and having ran so many different events, everybody kind of knows what we're doing, but it's always like still a structure that we go through, making sure that everything is set. We have Josie on AV, like really, preparing the music and the different sound effects that are there during the event. We have, everyone taking leadership of guiding our participants and helping them answering the questions, little work groups that we do where people can actually hold each other accountable and really push themselves to actually get results. And then there's like after parties of the event too, which we have started to do since the last two events, which are really nice. So we have the event itself, and then we have an after party later where we kind of discuss some of the topics that we spoke about and really get it to simmer in. So it's like a real happening when we're running this. And then obviously from an organizational point of view, we have to be tight. We have to make sure that whatever we do is there in service of the participants to the highest degree. And I really love this. And I have loved this since the beginning, because I started running events, well, actually already in university. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize it when I was doing it for the university, as I was a student ambassador. And with that, I ran events, or I went to fairs, and I promoted our university and specifically astronomy. And I was already doing it there, but I didn't realize that that was what I was doing. But later on, when I actually went to go in business and I learned like the events business from Master Shri Akashna, it was a really such an interesting thing. And to me, it's one of the most beautiful parts of running a business, especially the nature of business that we have. Because when you're running events, it's like you're stepping into a new universe, and everything is accelerated in there, and everything is just like amplified. And so, like I said earlier, it's like in only a matter of a few days, you can transcend multiple years into the future. You gain knowledge that normally would have taken you years to acquire. And being able to facilitate that and being part of those transformation journeys is so freaking incredible. So I remember when I was learning the events business and really looking at it from every point of view, like what is like we used to do it a lot in person events. So right now we're running mainly online events, which is slightly different concept, but yet the same as well. But I remember from in-person events, there's so much attention to detail, like what is the lighting, what is the place where you how you set things up, how do you even set up the seats for the right energy flow. There are so many different things, like how do you pair the seats. Like for instance, when we're running in-person events, we want people to be able to interact. So in online events it's the same, but in-person events is that too. So typically what we would want to do is we say, hey, turn to the person next to you and give a high five. But obviously if you have odd numbered seats, then there's always one person at the edge that's not able to high five someone. So you have to take all of these things into account. And I used to love that. And I remember that whenever we were setting up in our event halls or hotels, then I was the person that was first in the room. I was the person last to leave. And it was just an incredible experience, because I wanted to make sure that everything was tight, because I knew if I could make sure with our team that everything was tight, lives are going to change. And I just it's something that I also every single time reminisce about, because it's just so beautiful, the effect that it has, and people cry tears of joy and give you the biggest hugs and like, oh my goodness, this changed my life, thank you so much for doing that. And so then we went online, And yes, thank you so much, Hanai. Can't wait for you to be there too. Are you bringing a guest? Let me know because it's so awesome to share the experience with others. But what was I saying? Yeah, and then we went to online, and at first I thought when you do it online, it's probably not able to have that big of a transformation as you would as in an in-person event. But boy, was I wrong. With online events, I have maybe even seen more transformation. It's really crazy. It's like the space that you create with the different people. It's like when you're watching a movie, like how many of you watch movies? And when you are watching a movie, it's like the whole world around you disappears and you're in the movie and you're with the characters and you're like emotionally invested and you're just like, oh, so focused on it. And it's that same kind of analogy that you have with the type of events that we run. And that's why sometimes even when I over deliver and we go overtime, clients are like, whoa, I can't imagine that, a couple of hours just pass by like that, because you're so invested. You step into that whirlwind that takes you like and then you come out and it's like, whoa, and then you start doing things, you start implementing. And we have these events as well with people from all around the world, so there's a bunch of different time zones. So sometimes people tune in where it's like in the middle of the night for them, but then they come in and they're a little bit tired, and then afterwards they're buzzing and they're not able to sleep anymore because of the amazing energy that has just been transferred. So I think that, like, seeing that when we were running online events, I was like, whoa, I didn't even think that that was possible, but it is. And it kind of makes sense as well, because how can we be transported into a new world when we're watching a television series or when we're watching a movie? It's the same concept. And so it also goes to show that our minds are so super strong. Like, yes, we are a physical being, but more so we are a spirit. And with our spirit, we can just go into a world and be there with each other and come out elevated. And that's why running events like this, it kind of makes me emotional knowing like what this is going to do to our participants, like the immense growth that they're going to find and the hope that they're going to feel in their hearts and the confidence that they are going to experience is tremendous. And I guess that really is what makes this, in my opinion, one of the most fulfilling things to do, because yeah, you're just changing lives. So that, I guess, are the three aspects that I want to share with you guys behind the scenes of an event organizer. And there's a lot more to talk about, a lot more things that one can talk about and can express. So if there's any particular thing that you guys are interested in, I would be more than happy to read that in the comments, and then next time I can talk about those. But for now, I just wanted to share these things, and I hope they were insightful. I see more people tuning in, so you may want to go back to the beginning and then watch it again. But I am so thrilled of what's going to happen tomorrow and in the next week. Is going to be absolutely incredible. And yeah, and also at the end, that's the fun thing. At the beginning, a lot of people come in that don't know each other, but at the end of it, it's like a whole family is created, and people are like, oh my god, I'm so sad that it's going to stop, like what am I going to do without it? And that's so crazy how that's possible. Like, time is such a weird concept, but that such strong relationships and transformational experiences can be had in only a couple of days. It's still mind-blowing to me. But I guess it's definitely something that I'm very happy with, that I got into this world, and be able to call this my job and that this is what we do. So I'm really excited. So again, for everybody just tuning in, if you're not yet part of Project 1 Million in 1 Year, click on the link, join us. It's free of charge. And if you've been looking for something that can change your life, or you've been hoping for a miracle to come, or for change to come, help to come, support to come, this might be the thing that you've been waiting for. So I cannot wait for you guys to be part of it, for us to have a lot of fun, but most of all for you to transform your life in the most beautiful way possible. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I see you guys tomorrow on the pre-training of Project 1 Million in 1 Year. And also, for those of you that are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video if you think it was beneficial, share it with others if you think it can benefit them. And I'll see you tomorrow on another episode. Bye, guys.